Hey YouTube, welcome back to the poker vlog. Yes, this is vlog number 52, Poker with Kids. This time we are in Brisbane in front of the World Expo Public Art Trail. This is apparently a thing called Showdown. Don't know where it gets its inspiration, but I do remember as a kid coming up here for World Expo in '88. Clearly no memory of this thing behind me, but anyway, poker vlog. Gonna have a look at the meetup game at the WPT Australia that was held recently, and some issues. So WPT Australia had the first time ever they've had the main tour. In Australia they've had some of the deep stacks or some of the sort of subsidiary tours in Australia, but this is the first time they've actually had the main WPT tour in Australia. So fantastic that we've got the main tour in the country. Personally, with, as the title of the channel might suggest, Poker with Kids, 3 young kids, I don't exactly have the budget to buy into many of these events. I think the cheapest was $440 or $550 from memory. I mean, they did have big numbers obviously, but yeah, I'm sticking at the moment at least to some of the smaller series, some of the smaller APT, APL, APLPT type league series, those type of tournaments. So no WPT tournament from me this time. A little added attraction for the WPT series this time around. WPT ambassadors, poker vloggers Andrew, Neeme and Brad Owen came to Australia and they held one of their infamous meetup games, which sounds like a great idea. And that was something I was hoping. I think, look, if I'm not going to play in a tournament, maybe I'll get to meet Andrew and Brad, play a bit of poker, and see how that goes. So yeah, seemed like a good idea, but of course it seemed like a good idea for a lot of other people as well. And it was run at Star Gold Coast. So organisationally, not the greatest. So the big setup problem that they had is they had advertised the game starting at 6 o'clock, registration from 4 o'clock. I had work commitments. I got there, I think, at about 4:05 to register for the meetup game. And I found that I was already number, I think, 99 on the list. And got told that the list actually opened up before 4 o'clock. So if you followed the instructions that you were given what was advertised, you were automatically number 70, 80 or later on the list if you showed up at the 4 o'clock time as advertised. So number one problem. All well and good. Gets to just before 6 o'clock. I think the exact time on my text was something like 5:56 or something along those lines. But they decided to send a text message, I believe, to everybody on the list, because they were opening up the meetup game. So if you happen to be near the front of the registration desk or near the registration desk, you got a ticket whether you were at the top of the list or the bottom of the list, because you had a text message that said, I have a seat in the meetup game. So of course I went to the desk and there was a line of about 40 or 50 people in front of me who had also got a text message to say seat open for the meetup game. So obviously not ideal that you get a message, but it doesn't actually mean you get a seat. So we're obviously lining up for the seat game. And how they had the table set up, they were 9-handed, as I think they're playing standard at the moment, with 1 seat empty, so that Andrew or Brad, if they were doing theirs, I think the plan was for them to play sort of half an hour to an hour on each table and then go to another table, which is obviously the idea of the meetup game. You get a chance to have a seat, play with Brad or Andrew or both. So good idea in theory, leave a seat open. So that meant that instead of playing 9-handed, you're playing 8-handed. Less people on the list get a seat. While this is all going on, they still had a tournament final table that was played on a feature table, which obviously they're not going to use for a cash game. They had another tournament that was, I believe, down to the final 3 tables. Plus, they also had a main event satellite, which I think that initially they'd set up 8 tables for. And I think it was 8 tables originally set up as the meetup game tables. Obviously not realizing the level of interest they're going to get, realizing that in the past these meetup games have got, I know in Vegas 12 tables is a standard. They've had ones in Texas that have got over 200 people, and at least this one had probably close to 150 on the list, if not more. So if they had the tables, the staff, etc., and were organised, I'm sure that the record of 200 or so would have been, at the very least, challenged, if not broken. So we're lining up for to get our seats with our text message that says, yes, you have a seat. And about 15 to 20 people from the front of the line to get to the desk, the supervisor who is at the desk says, guys, tables are full, no point in lining up anymore, we don't have any seats, we're going to send out more text messages if there are seats available. So don't bother lining up, we don't have seats, you can stand here if you want, but you're not going to get a seat to the meetup game. Excellent, just what we wanted. So we've been waiting not only for 2 hours after registering, then in line for about half an hour to then get told you don't actually have a seat, in spite of the fact that you have a text message that says you do have a seat. So problem number, whatever number up to. So yeah, wonderfully done. Of course, as the night goes on, there are a handful of people that left, whether they sort of had enough, got up, busted, whatever. So there were a handful of people that got text messages. Presumably they were in the order that they registered, from 2 or 3 o'clock or whenever they open up the registration line. At around about 9 o'clock, I actually went up to the desk and checked and said, hey, what number am I on the list? And they said, I think I was 19 or 20. So I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance I'll get on for a little bit, given that the meetup game was supposed to run from 6 till 10 was the plan. But this is not the end of the problem. So I'm guessing a lot of the people in the meetup game went, gee, if I'm not going to get into the meetup game, I'm going to play in the main event satellite. So there were actually over 100 alternates for the main event satellite. So they actually prioritized seating people for the main event satellite. So anybody that came in, obviously seating people for the tournament, the alternates for the satellite tournament, because that's dollars in the pocket of Star City. There's rake on the rake on the rake. So yeah, dollars, whereas the meetup game, it's just, you know, taking the rake from a cash pot, and it's, you know, you don't have a particular number. It could be small pots, could be big pots, you don't know, depends on the hour, you know, how many hands the dealer gets. Tournament, you just get a flat figure, thank you very much, cash, 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 cash. Star prefers that, obviously, to the cash tables and the what would we say, the indeterminate income of the cash tables compared to the definite income of tournaments. Every tournament you seat, you get an admin fee that goes straight into the pockets of the star. So tournament gets seated. There were at least 1 or 2 of the meetup game cash tables that broke. They moved players to other tables and they turned them into tournament tables. So again, you've got more tournaments to seat. The tournament alternates looking for the dollar for the star. Cash tables, so they're slowly dwindling. I know at least at around the sort of 9:45 mark, I noticed at least 5 or 6 empty seats. I understand there's one vacant for Andrew or Brad, even though by that time they're not going to get round to the next table. So there are still multiple empty seats. Dealers are not pushing buttons to notify that there is a seat. You're just playing 5, 6, 7-handed, or however many people there are at your table, less than the full complement of 9 minus 1 or 8, whichever way you want to look at it. So there were multiple short-handed tables that didn't get anybody added to. Nobody got a text message. And there was one player who I saw who obviously didn't know anything about the meetup game at all, rocked in at 10 o'clock, saying, there are spots on these tables, can I play this game? The supervisor at the table sent him over to the registration desk. He went to the registration desk sent him back to the table, and he was doing this yo-yo, and he's going, look, I just want to play poker, can I get a seat? To make matters worse, at the time when I had registered at 4 o'clock, I put my name down for a 1-3 game that never got up. There was like 100 people on the list for a 1-3 game, but that never happened. Or the 2-5 meetup game. When it got to 10 o'clock, that meetup game, instead of transferring over to a regular 2-5 list, was transferred into a meetup game interest list. So here I was, I had registered from 4 o'clock get to 10 o'clock, and now I'm on an interest list that is not going to get up because there is no meetup game plan, because it's already, in theory, over, even though Brad and Andrew stayed until at least 11 o'clock playing. There were still 5 or 6 tables going when I left at 11 o'clock, when I realized, okay, I've got a chance to have a bit of a chat to Brad and Andrew. Wonderful guys, really, really nice guys, really great for poker. Can't say enough good things about them. Not so much the star. So yeah, 11 o'clock, I decided to go home. There's still poker going on, but they're not adding to that. It's just a game going on that has no list, is not going to get added to, and just a general organisational stuff up from the start. By that stage, the tournament was obviously losing players. They had people emptying from the tournament tables, but were they opening up more cash tables? No, they were closing up the tables, sending dealers home, sending staff home, and a big FU to the players. So Star, great idea, really poorly executed. Managed to waste 5-6 hours of my time that obviously I'm not going to get back. Having said that, I did meet Brad and Owen, Brad Owen and Andrew Neeme. Both seem like really nice guys. Got a couple of photos of them before game, and a couple of photos, one with them each, and had a quick chat to them. But especially Andrew, he's really nice guy. He's the one of the earliest poker vloggers that I got into watching, and his vlog has gone from strength to strength, and well done to him, and also obviously to Brad Owen for what they're doing. So yeah, bit of good combined with a bit of not so good. That is WPT meetup game, as far as I'm concerned. No poker, zero poker, and a big one of those to Star. He couldn't really organise anything. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm a little bit frustrated by all this. So yeah, haven't had much of a chance to play poker. I thought, yep, this is my one chance to play poker for the last couple of months. I haven't, as you might have noticed if you've been following the channel. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, haven't had many videos coming out because I haven't played poker. Just been busy with work, been busy with the family, been busy with the kids, and yeah, no time for poker. And the one time I get a time for, or get a chance to play some poker, it's a Star City, you're not going to play poker. Breathe. Having said all that, in the meantime, the vlog has ticked over the 100 subscriber mark. So this is mini step one. The plan obviously is to build up the subscriber base, try and actually make this a little bit more than a hobby. Maybe at some point earn like $10 or something from the channel, putting out these videos. We're up to, as you might have heard from the intro, number 52. So we put out quite a few videos. We've cracked 100 subscribers. The next goal, I suppose, is 500, but the real one is 1,000. Once you get to 1,000 and you have enough watch hours, you can run ads and really annoy the people that are watching your channel. But anyway, that ad revenue can then turn into like 10 cents in your pocket. So yeah, this would possibly be a little side hustle if I get to that point. But yeah, it's still a long way off yet. But anyway, we'll keep going, keep plugging away with the videos, and see how we go. But yeah, big thanks to Brad, Andrew, and the WPT for getting things organised. Not so much to Star. Also related to Star, there's been a report coming out basically considered unsuitable to hold a casino license. So I don't know what that means for the casino going forward. There's a number of weeks apparently to prepare a report, or for Star to respond to the report. But basically there's a potential that Star could lose their license, which might affect their casino in Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney. They're the three in the Star brand at the moment in Australia. And yeah, don't know whether someone else would just come in and take over the license, whether the casinos would close, whether there's some other kind of arrangement. I don't know. Let's say wait and see. But yeah, personally not happy with the Star. The government and the various independent watchdogs not happy with the Star either. Apparently, as you might have heard, they're all about the money, and not so much about the players and doing things that would actually help the players, whether it's to do with responsible gaming, anything like that. It's trying to look after people that are losing a heap of money and things like that. It's like, no, there's no kind of no kind of interest in a responsible game or anything like that. It's just like, oh no, thank you, come in, lose your money, we'll take it, and not a problem, we'll help you, you know. I saw something about a private jet for one of the people that had lost thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in a session, possibly even to the millions, but yeah, they got a private jet back home. But anyway, Star City, formerly Star City in Sydney, going back to the days when I used to work there. But the Star in the Gold Coast and really Brisbane and Sydney as well. Get your act together. Get your act together. Run a proper poker room. If you're going to organise something, organise it properly. Thanks to Andrew Neeme, Brad Owen for coming out to Australia, having a good time, showing the locals what a poker ambassador is. They're really, really nice guys. As I said, got to meet them, have a little chat to them, even though I didn't actually get to play with them. But yeah, thanks to those guys for coming out, and that's it. Vlog number 52, we are out. Thanks, guys. Hope to see you again next vlog soon.